Hi, welcome to Hospitality Live with Rupesh. Each week, we feature an industry leader that will share the latest trends and the best strategies to help you grow. Now, welcome your host, Rupesh Patel.
Hey guys, sorry, that was like abrupt. Hey guys, welcome to the show. I am super excited to have you guys on and have another show this week. This week is episode number 54, and it's all about marketing. It's marketing your hotel. It is all about photography, and it's super important that we talk about this because I see a lot of hotels with really, really bad pictures, and it's embarrassing. And then you're losing money, right? You're losing a lot of money when you don't have the proper photography and the right image online. And it's always that marketing that always kind of sets you apart from everybody else. And I love marketing, and you do too. I know you do, because it's helped your business. So this episode is number 54. It's the Road to Recovery, 11 hotel photo hacks to gain more business. And we all need more business right now. I talk to so many hotel people, and they're like, last week was amazing, and this week it is totally dead, and it's super scary. So guys, please comment and let us know where you're watching from, because we are giving away a $50 Amazon gift card. I'm so excited about that because I know it means a lot to you when we have these giveaways, and people appreciate that. So, and I appreciate you guys. So comment and let us know where you're watching from, and the most engaging person will win a $50 Amazon gift card, and we're going to give it away before the end of the show. And real quick, let me see where people are watching from. All right, so we got Toronto, we got Saudi Arabia, Maryland, Texas, Massachusetts. Good morning. Good morning from India. Valdosta, Georgia. Hey guys, comment, let us know where you're watching from. And all right, so this episode is the 11 hotel photo hacks to gain more business. And really, it's for anybody. It could be you could be a general manager, you could be the front desk associate, you could be the owner of the property, which then you can kind of understand what you need for any of your properties that you have. And you're gonna learn how to attract more business with the right photos. Find out, I think you can hear this, find out what photos you actually need on your website and social media, right? A lot of people don't know what they actually need, what shots they need, and they're like, we just threw up some pictures and that was it. So discover the photography strategies that could help you get more bookings. And guys, I am so excited about this episode and the next 4 episodes, and maybe longer than that, but we have a brand new sponsor, and I have to give them a huge shout out because they've watched, and we've been talking about this for some time now. And I'm just excited that they're willing to come on and sponsor the show. And it is spurwork.com/hospitality live. Someone throw that in the comments right now. Please throw that in the comments, and please click on that link, because it is because of them that we continue the show, right? So let me bring up their branding real quick and give them a quick shout out, give a quick read. All right, so what does Spur do? And all of our hotels need this because it helps all of us, right? It eliminates paperwork. First of all, if you're hiring people and you're going through the whole process of hiring somebody else or hiring a staff on, guess what? It's painful because you have all of this paperwork that you're faxing, you're printing, you're scanning, and then you're sending it out to your payroll company, and then it comes back to you and they have to sign it. Guess what? No more, none of that. You're gonna eliminate paperwork, be super flexible, and it's all 100% online through Spur. And let me do the quick read real quick. All right, so this week's episode is brought to you by Spur. Spur is a low-cost, all-in-one HR, payroll, and benefits software designed for the hospitality industry. That is us right now, right? It automates costly and time-consuming back office tasks, including onboarding, scheduling, timekeeping, payroll, benefits administration for your hotel, so you can focus on what matters most, and that is our team and our guests. So learn more at Spur. And the website, we created a branding website, a co-branding website, is spurwork.com/hospitality live. Somebody, yep, there you go. There you guys go. Put that in the show notes. Please click on that link, because that's who's sponsoring the show, and that's who's making all of this happen. If it wasn't for these sponsors, I wouldn't be able to afford what it costs to put the show on every week with my video guys, design guys, all the stuff that people that help me behind the scenes. So guys, thank you so much to Spur. I'm going to talk about at the end of the show. Let's go on with the show. Here we go. All right. So we have a bunch of people online. I'm super excited. Oh, we have Montgomery, Arizona, Virginia. Guys, welcome to the show. This is Jersey, Texas. Guys, welcome to the show. Pennsylvania, Orlando. Hey, shout out to my local hometown, Florence, Kentucky, Plano, Texas. Good morning to everybody. All right. So let me see. Where are my notes? Where are my notes? All right. So we talked about our sponsor. We talked about, or we're going to now talk about my mindset. So every week I talk about a mindset, and this week's mindset I posted a few days ago. It is, I'd rather be 1 hour early to my meeting to anything than be 1 minute late. Comment if you agree in that, because it breaks so many rules of business and life, like trust. What else does it break when you're late to a meeting or late to anything, right? It breaks a lot of different things. So that was my mindset this week. And I know you guys feel the same way when we're talking about being somewhere on time and sharing your promises and keeping your promises. That's what hospitality is about, keeping a promise, right? And so please share if you guys believe that, because I think it's super powerful when you have this mindset, like, I'm not going to be late. If I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I have to be at the gym at like 6 or even earlier than that, guess what? I'm going to wake up an hour early. And I do. Like, I wake up at like at 4:15, 4:30 in the morning, even though my gym is at 5:30, right? I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late for anything. And it drives me crazy when I'm late or if somebody else is late. So guys, comment and let me know if you feel the same way. People are saying it looks bad. My connection's awful. Can everybody hear me? Yes, comment. All right. I think it should be good. All right. So now, next part of the segment, I'm super excited about this influencer, this person that I had on the show, Sarah Dandashy. I don't know if I said it wrong or right. I would say her name wrong, but she's coming onto the show, and we're going to talk about the new thing that she's going to be talking about every week on the show, and it is Hospitality Minute. Hang on, let me pull up the pro. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Sarah Dandashy from Ask a Concierge. Every week, I'll be sharing the latest hospitality and travel news and updates in a segment we like to call Hospitality Minute.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Welcome.
Wait.
I keep turning your mic off. You need to turn it on. All right, go ahead. Hold on, can't unmute, guys. Go ahead, unmute it.
We're going to unmute it. Perfect. Okay, there we go. It's all right. It's okay. I talk too much anyway. We want to go ahead and mute it. Cool. Thank you for having me on.
I'm super excited that you're going to be on the show every week talking about something in hospitality, news, updates, travel, and this is what you do. So I know you were on the show a few episodes ago, and people loved your episode, and they got so many ideas just from what you shared that I was like, you know what? I have to have Sarah on every week. So let's get into it. It's the Hospitality Minute with Sarah.
It's the inaugural
Dandashy.
Dandashy, you got it. You got it. Cool. Well, thanks for having me on. So what I really wanted to do, and I know that we talked about this, is just really sort of dive into what's going on in the whole hospitality and travel world, because right now, obviously, everything is turned upside down. But the better we power ourselves with knowledge, we will just be stronger as we go through recovery. So that being said, we'll go through a quick hospitality minute on what we're seeing in the world of travel and hospitality. Big news this past week: Alaska, Delta, and American Airlines, as well as United, have all ditched their change fees. This is huge because traditionally speaking, airlines have not been quite up to par with hotels when it comes to maybe their hospitality service. So making this big move by ditching their change fees is going to be huge in regards to consumer confidence. So that's a big thing that we're seeing in the airline industry. We are also seeing that there is a rise in the use of travel agents. So according to a study from Travelport, more travelers are likely to book their trips through a travel agent now than 7 months ago. So they actually found that 33% of all travelers are anticipating an increase in their use of travel agent services. Now, this was also particularly strong for millennials. 44% of millennials actually said that they would increase their use of travel advisor, travel agents. And overall, about 65% of respondents said that it's because they feel travel agents are best placed to provide them with the latest safety information. So if you are a hotel, definitely strengthen your ties with travel agents as people and travelers are using them.
Wow, that's interesting.
I know, right? It is. It's definitely a big thing. So, quick thing here. There are a lot of rumors going on in regards to IHG. There's and an Accor hotel group merger. Are they merging? Are they not? Ultimately, nothing is confirmed, but just to even think about it a bit, if those two companies, so Accor and IHG, would actually merge, that would result in the world's largest hotel company. But right now, analysts are saying it's a little dicey, but it doesn't mean that the rumors still aren't out there. So a lot of rumors out there, and a lot of people are kind of buzzing with curiosity. Could we see this actually happening? And then a couple quick facts from the American Hotel and Lodging Association. They actually did a study that they released just a few days ago. And I'm sure a lot of you guys might find this interesting. They found that 4 out of 10 hotel employees are still not working. So that's about 40%. Almost 2/3 of hotels remain at or below 50% occupancy. And this is for the United States, by the way, which is just below the threshold at which most hotels can break even. They also found that urban hotels are finding it a little bit more challenging right now than hotels in more rural areas where people are looking to get away and have big spaces. And about 33% of Americans have reported that they've traveled for an overnight or leisure vacation since March. But 38%, so it's only a hair more, are saying that they're likely to travel by the end of the year. So, some stats and figures for you. That's it for my first hospitality minute.
Great job. Great job. Hang on, let me see if I can get this back up. Hey, great job. Awesome. Sure. We're going to do this every week. And so I'm sure people appreciate your stats, your information. You just came back from Mexico.
I did.
Literally like a few hours ago. And you just spent a weekend at a few hotels, and they're beautiful. And guys, if you don't know, follow her on Instagram at Ask a Concierge. And she has her entire stay, including all the food and everything that you kind of did at the hotels, and kind of explain
the safety protocols. And that was really the big thing that I really wanted to focus, is that you, especially for travelers that might feel a little bit like, oh, can we travel yet? Can we not? Hotels have really stepped up to the plate, and travelers should feel really comfortable with that. So, I mean, hey, we're doing our part, right?
Absolutely. Well, Sarah, we'll see you next week.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was awesome. So every week we're going to have Sarah on talking about something related to hospitality and travel, and she's like all over the place. So I love it that she continues sharing what's hot right now. If you like this segment, please tell her, welcome her to the show, and please let us know what you would like to hear from Sarah when we're talking about news, updates, anything that has to do with hospitality. She'll bring it to us based on what we want, based on what you want. So guys, comment and let us know. By the way, don't forget, we're giving away a $50 gift card to Amazon before the end of the show. The most engaging person on the show is going to win the $50 gift card. And Greg, our featured presenter, is going to be definitely helping me out to share this. And guys, this episode is number 54, and we're talking about the 11 hotel photo hacks that can help you get more business right now. And let me go ahead and introduce our featured guest today. And let me bring him on real quick. Hey, Greg. It's Greg Teo. He's the expert in hotel photography. And Greg, I've noticed and watched and seen all the posts that you've been posting recently. They're amazing. Like, I love your shots. I love the different angles and the quality of your work. And so I was like, I have to have Greg on, because this is the time that we all need to improve our hotels and our online presence, because people are planning their travel for next year. So Greg, tell us how you got into the business and what you're doing right now to kind of keep it going. And I'm going to share your portfolio too.
Sure, great. Well, first, thanks for having me on. It's a real pleasure. I got into photography 30 years ago, really in junior high school, and just went to photo school, got my master's in photography, and I've worked in all aspects of the business, not only photography, but there was a lot of hospitality along the way. I've washed dishes, bartended, waited tables, pretty much done everything with regards to that. So eventually I became friends with a photographer in Australia who was doing hospitality. During the last recession, things had sort of settled out in the advertising industry that I was working in, and I was looking for something new. And I trained with one of the premier architecture photographers in the world, Paul Warshaw, when I was in college. And I just came back to my roots, really. And there's a fair amount of architecture and interiors and hospitality. And once I started working in hospitality, I loved it because I could do food, I could do portraits, I could do exteriors, interiors, and then we started with the drone work and video. So we really try to cover everything. It keeps it interesting. There's travel involved. I was on 72 airplanes last year.
Wow.
I was in Aruba. I was in all over the United States, Puerto Rico for a new Hyatt property. That was pretty wonderful. So it's a lot of travel. Sometimes I hop from city to city, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, your photos are amazing. And we're gonna get into the hacks because you visit so many types of hotels. And guys, these aren't just 5-star luxury hotels. He does shoots for every segment of the industry, including boutique, including economy, including select service. I mean, extended stay. You're the photographer any type of hotel in hospitality, which I love that, you're so flexible, and you have to be these days where things change every single day. And so I love that. And I'm going to share real quick. And if you could just talk about what this portfolio looks like and where we are, I'm just going to continue through the pictures and then we'll get into the hacks.
Yeah. Okay, great. We could talk
So what
about
are we looking at here?
Picture by picture, but this is a drone shot of the Biltmore. We have a great, our associate photographer does our drone work, John McKinnon. He goes with me on some of the shoots where we need a second photographer or we need drone work. And we get permission to fly in amazing places. So this is one of the renovated rooms of the Biltmore. And, he's a professional drone photographer, but then I was shooting the interior shots. This is the Hotel Pierre. This is their town car, their hotel car that they wanted shot with out front. And they actually had some, in New York in the winter, you have coverings over some entryways. We had to take one of those off in Photoshop, pretty meticulous. A lot of people think you might just push a button in Photoshop and something disappears, but a lot of this work is very meticulous and difficult to do. You just passed the Greenbrier. We just did a drone shot for them that was incredible. This is a shot of the Redford Hotel in downtown Manhattan. They just did a renovation, and I worked with a designer on this. This is the Delano in Miami.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. I've been there.
It's amazing. And
I'm just gonna quickly go through some of these, and we'll get into the topic right now. So you do food, you do lifestyle, you do outside shots, and this is your portfolio. So you're showing really, the ones that you kind of recently did, or your top, so people can get understanding and kind of picture themselves. And I always look at pictures like it's the most important asset, along with video right now, to any hotel. So if you don't have your pictures on point, you're losing money. You're losing an opportunity to convert that looker into a booker. And guess what? People are planning right now. We've been talking about this for months now. People are planning for 2021 and beyond with meetings, weddings, groups, their vacations, right? They're looking at spring break for next year. And we're seeing those inquiries come in. And I see the hotels I talk to, their inquiries are coming in for next year. So this is an opportunity when we're talking about photos to talk about and take them to your hotel visually. And that's what we're doing when we're talking about our hotel hacks. So let me just quickly go through like your portfolio and we'll get started. But these are beautiful, amazing shots. Guys, comment if you like these shots and see that you can get transformed into this location now, like into New York City. You can feel like you're part of this restaurant in the hotel or the spa. Like I love that we can bring ourselves into a setting just by the imagery or the video, right? And you guys do a little bit of both, but I like that. So, all right, let's get right into it. And so this topic we're talking about is the 11 hotel hacks for when you're talking about photos to gain more business, right? And there's so many, there's probably like 100 things that I could think of on the top of my head when we're talking about your online presence. And this is marketing. So, back in March when things slowed down, it wasn't like we had to drop everything and turn our entire marketing budget off, right? We focused and doubled down on those things that were working, and imagery and photography is definitely things that we didn't stop. And you post every day on social media, right? And so please, let's talk about the 11 hacks, and we'll get into some other tips too beyond that when we're talking about photos for any type of hotel. What's your number one thing?
I mean, my number one thing for most properties is preparation for a photo shoot. And if you believe that you hire a photographer and they just show up and they make amazing pictures with without any help from the property, or you can just leave them alone, then you need to take a step back and do a call with your photographer and go over the preparation that needs to happen for the photo shoot. And it is quite involved, even if you have an economy property. For instance, if you're doing an exterior shot, usually those are at dusk or dawn. I like to do mine at dawn, so 6 in the morning or so. But if you have cars in front of your hotel, they will oftentimes block most of the front of the hotel. So you have to cone that off. The other thing you need to do is to light up your rooms, open up some of the shades so you get a nice glow in the window. You need to take the carts out of the front of the lobby, the garbage cans away from the front, really clear it, make it nice and clean. At the economy level, some photographers do not do much Photoshop work. So if they do the photos and then later on you say, hey, can you light up these windows? Can you take out these garbage cans? If you didn't do it, they might say, yeah, we can do it at $50 an hour or $100 an hour. But if you put in the prep time and the work, then you won't have to pay that money, and your pictures are going to look great. So,
yeah.
And if you have a new property that you're just opening, you have to be careful of the scheduling. Make sure you have everything. We've done extraordinary things like put new carpeting in hallways using the renderings and the photo because the carpeting wasn't in yet. It's a little tricky. You want your pictures. You want them to market your new property. And some properties will do it in 2 phases. But I could talk about preparation for an hour and a half, really. We could go over everything that needs to happen. But if you just have a conversation, a call with your team, the engineer, the director of rooms, the director of housekeeping, and then really have someone available the entire time the photographer is there. Not that they can't, go off for a half day and leave the photographer, because oftentimes I don't have the pool on a property that someone else would. So if I need a bathroom door taken off because it opens in, it'll block the bathroom, I can't do the shot, then I need to be able to talk to the engineer and say, hey, can you take this off so I can do this picture? Or if the room is not prepped right because the pillows are wrinkled and the top sheet is not done beautifully. I mean, that room has to look like a movie set. Every single room should look amazing.
Absolutely.
So
preparation is like the biggest thing. And you know what, Greg? I think it's important to not just photos, but in life. If you're not prepared for whatever you're doing as far as a task or a job, you don't have the right tools, guess what? You're not ready for it, right? And so it's the same thing we're talking about when we talk about photos. It's super important that we talk about being ready. So I've seen so many pictures of hotels that I consult with and talk about their online marketing, their strategy. And I say, show me your Hope website. And they have wrinkles on the bottom of their sheets, or their skirts are all messed up, or their curtains are wrinkled and just looks drabby. Right. If you're prepping, especially if you have an older hotel, prep by buying new sheets, prep by buying new pillows, prep by buying new whatever you need to do in that room to make sure that you get a great shot. Because they're going to spend post money, which is post-production money, to clean it up, when you could just make it real and make it look good, right?
Right. I mean, I've arrived at properties and we do a walkthrough. That's the other really important thing. Do a walkthrough with your photographer the afternoon before the photo shoot, or a couple hours before they start, if your team is ready to do a few things that need to happen. And when we do the walkthrough, sometimes they're running out to a store to get pillows that we're going to use in every room. Not that their pillows aren't comfortable, but they just they're not going to photograph well. Or they're taking off the comforters and just using the top sheet because the bed will look better. On and on and on. There's things that you need to do to prep the hotel, and the walkthrough is really important. So spend time with the photographer, listen to what their tips are and what you need to do to prep, and have the team ready to do these things to help in the process. And your photos will be 100% better.
Kate says taking the door off seems awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if the photographer is left to their own devices, then you may not get the photos that you expected. You may be able to fix it in post, but like we talked about, that may cost you some money.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what's number 2? And guys, ask your question. Make sure. Remember, we're giving away a $50 Amazon gift card before the end of the show. So the best questions, the most engaging person will win that $50 gift card at the end of the show. Ask Greg your photo questions. We'll get to all of them. If not, we're going to get to them after the show. Greg, is that okay with you?
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so what's number 2?
I guess I want to talk about developing a shot list of your shots. What you need to do is think about what your OTAs are a huge point of sales. It's just a fact of life. So you need to review the not only if you're a branded hotel, the brand standards and the requirements that the brand standards have for the amount of photos for, say, a standard room. But then you don't want to do a photo shoot and be left with not enough shots for the OTAs. So you have to make sure you're going to populate those with enough photos, enough new photos, updated photography. And that's a huge, important part of the process. So you need to have your shot list ready to go when you bid the photography originally. So I'd say, so you can be organized. Once you get the shot list, once you hire the photographer, you know the shots that you want, check them off as you go. Know that you're getting everything while they're there, especially if the schedule needs to change for specific reasons.
Yeah, and I love that you're not just thinking about your own website or your own social media, but you're thinking wide. You're thinking about like where these photos are going to end up, right? Or if they're going to end up on a third-party website, or if they're going to end up at one of your vendors that you sell rooms through too, right? So it's not just like one channel, like your own website. You're thinking about your website, but you're thinking when we're taking a shot or when we're talking about photos, that you're thinking of everything. So make a list of every distribution channel that you're going to have for your hotel, right? And then you can come back and say, all right. And you talked about OTAs, Greg. How many pictures do most OTAs, like a Booking or a Expedia or even a Google? How many do they want typically?
Well, they have a list per area. Like it will tell you, okay, lobby, we need 3 shots of the lobby. Standard room, I think it's 3 shots. Now, what we like to tell people is when we're doing a list is some of these pictures you can reuse. So if they require 3 shots for a standard room, but your bathroom is the same for all of your standard rooms, you can reuse that bathroom shot. And then you're just doing 1 bathroom and then you have 2 shots for each standard room. So it'll give you a list of, you could go down a list of every single area and how many shots they want of each area for each OTA.
Okay. And there's a lot of questions coming in. So guys, we're going to get to most of them and we'll try to get to them all, but we're going to make sure we get you these 11 hacks so that we walk away with at least some great tips, and then we'll answer these questions later. But yeah, so you're saying, I've noticed where GMs are like, oh, we need like 10 shots of this one room. Is that necessary?
No, you don't need 10 shots for most brand websites. Your brand standards, if you're a branded hotel, are not going to ask you for 10 shots. They probably will ask you for 3. You can do a few detail shots that can be reused for each one. We work where we're going to do 2 amazing shots of the room and light it. We don't work personally where we run around and snap a bunch of pictures. Yeah. We get the composition right. We prep for that shot, and really it takes 20 to 40 minutes to do that shot. So no, you don't need 10 shots of a space. I prefer quality over quantity. We want to do it right. We want to make it look great. But a little side note is you don't want it to look fake. So when people talk about Photoshop, you want it to be realistic. We went through a period of time when everything looked so perfect that people didn't trust the way the rooms looked. And we've pulled back from that, and there's more of a natural look going on in the industry. But that said, you still want your photographer to take out fire alarms, to take out, exit signs, the things that really you don't want to call attention to and don't need to be in the shot. I'm leading into one more of the hacks, which is your Photoshop work, and another one is upselling your rooms. So if you charge more for a room with, let's say, a lake view, you can actually how do you sell that? If you don't have a photographer that can put the view in to that window, then you're not going to be able to upsell that room. I like what Marriott was doing. They were offering, if you go onto some of the websites, they'll show you your standard room. It's like a flight. They say, oh, well, you bought a standard coach seat, but for this much money, you can be in first class, or you can be in what's the mid range. But they upsell
Business
you.
class. Yeah.
Yeah, they upsell you by saying, look at this. You could have this. You could get a free drink, or you could get a lake view. So if you get a lake view room and you can see it in the photo, you can upsell that right at the point of sale. And people can see it. They'll say, hey, I might want that. That looks great. One thing to note is when you're looking at the views, when you walk into a guest room, if you don't see the lake, but you know that your guest, when they walk up to the window, they have an amazing view, you may need to take a picture of the view that the guest actually sees when they're near the window and put that in the room, because you're not deceiving them. It is a lake view room. But where the camera is to show the window and to show the full room may not see that view of the lake that will sell that room.
Yeah. So they get an idea where they're going to be standing to see that view of the lake or the ocean.
Exactly. And when you scout rooms, when we talk about preparation, you need to scout rooms that show those views and take them out of service. It's really hard when a hotel's busy. They want that business. They want to sell those rooms. But if you have a photographer and they're arriving on property and those rooms get sold, then it's a tough position, because you sold the rooms that had great views, and then now you have a photographer coming to your property. So make sure when you take those rooms out of service that they stay out of service, and you can put them back in as soon as the photographer's done. But if you want to see those views, choose rooms that will show the views that you can upsell.
Right. And that's all preparing. That's all prep.
Right. That's part of prep. All these things, mix and match. You can't do a lake view of a ground floor room that shows the parking lot. It won't look right. So you need to have the proper room to be able to do that.
Awesome. So now what's number 5?
I'm just going from memory. I'm not looking at it.
Okay. So we talked about prep. We talked about your comp set. How do you beat your comp set with just photos?
Well, what I say is, when I tell properties, I say, when you look at your competition and you look at their photography, and let's say their hotel photos look okay, but they're not showing things in the community that are an asset to your property. So I just photographed a hotel in Buckhead near Atlanta, and they said, okay, go around and we want pictures of the amazing shopping areas we have, this upscale shopping. We want pictures of the exterior of the Atlanta History Museum. We want pictures of this amazing park where you can, you can take kayaks out. So you do all those things, and you show what it is that your property, what it is around your property that you're selling, because you're selling the experience a lot of times. And just the fact that if the other property doesn't have good updated photography, then I think when a guest looks, their view of your hotel is when they see it online. And especially, if you have a vacation property, people want to see, what does the beach look like? Do you offer, boating? Do you offer jet skis? What can we do? And the photography can show that. You need to sell the property with imagery. The other thing that's on the list is packages, how to sell packages in different seasons. If you have a hotel that's near a ski resort, why not use photography, show the skiing, make a deal with the resort where you get a lift ticket with the rooms. And if you have ski lockers at your hotel, do a photo of the ski lockers. If you have a shuttle that takes them to the ski resort, show the shuttle and do a package deal so that you can sell with the photography that shows the potential guests, hey, if we go to this hotel, they have ski lockers, they make it really easy for us. We can go and do a ski package, and it's one price deal for the entire weekend.
Yeah, and somebody actually asks a great question. It says, do you need permission from the local surrounding businesses when you're taking pictures of their business? Because it's your photos, I don't know if that matters.
So technically the answer is yes. But I haven't come across an instance where a business is being promoted by a hotel that they get upset about it. You're promoting their business.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would say, "Oh, this is not a good idea. We don't want our picture on their website."
Yeah.
Um, Technically, sure, you need permission, but I haven't come across any instance where they say we don't like this. Now, if you have people in the pictures, then and you really don't want to have people, but let's say you're doing a ski photo. People always ask me about, lifestyle and, oh, can we just do some photos in the restaurant? But people are eating, they don't know what's going on with the photography. Or if you're doing a ski resort photo, you really want models that sign a release or guests that sign a release to do those shots, because you just don't want someone in a photo on a website without their knowledge.
Yeah.
That's where you can get into a little sticky trouble.
So photo releases are like the thing that you should have in your back pocket. Anytime you share photos, social media or on your website or on third party, definitely make sure that you have those photo releases and let them know they're in a shot and if it's okay with them, right?
Yeah, you generally want to clear that up front. And, just taking photos in a restaurant with a lot of people, there's ways to blur people, make it a long exposure, that kind of thing. But I don't like to impose on guests or make them feel uncomfortable in any way. They're there, they paid for their stay, they're there to relax. I don't want to cause any issues with that. But in general, with lifestyle photography, what I like to tell people is it's much better to have real models, people with some experience, than just guests or team members or associates, because they're not used to modeling. You can make it work for a few shots where it's not too much trouble, but you don't want to have associates or a guest trade situation for an entire 8 or 10 or 12-hour day when you're shooting lifestyle. You really want seasoned people that know what they're doing and understand how to do it and what's happening.
Okay, so I have a personal question.
Okay.
Should we include people in all our shots or not? Back in the day, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they're like, no, 15 years ago, they're like, yeah, you need to have people in every shot, make sure they're like in the room, having breakfast, something, room, whatever. And now they're like, no, keep it clean, keep it, clean lines, all those things, keep people out of it. What is your take on this?
So for your standard hotel photos, no people. I mean, first of all, they'll date your pictures in a couple of years. In 2 or 3 years, the clothes, the hair, everything goes out of style. And so you have dated looking photos that you're using after 3 years, and you're like, well, these kind of look old now. We need new ones. You want to show the rooms. You want to show the lobby. You want to show most areas without people. Sometimes you do a hotel lobby, a guest associate checking someone in, a front desk agent. You show them behind the desk in some shots, that's fine. I usually do it with and without a front desk agent for that shot. But in general, almost all hotel brand standards say, for your standard hotel photos, do not have guests in those shots. Now, if you want to do lifestyle shots, like let's say you want to sell weddings, you might want to do a wedding setup and then some wedding shots. We just did a shoot for the Curio Key West, and they wanted to sell their weddings. They wanted a wedding set up on the pier, and then they wanted a bride and groom and some other wedding shots that were not. We didn't show a full wedding. That would be too much. The cost would be too much in models. But they wanted to show that they did weddings and where they did weddings and the feeling of what it was like if you had your wedding there. So we got models for that, and that was fantastic. That worked out really well if you want to sell something extra, but you don't need people in their rooms eating breakfast. You could show a breakfast tray, that sort of thing, but it's going to date your photos, and it's expensive to get all those models and to do those shots.
I 100% agree. And, all right, so it really depends on what kind of property you have, how many photos you actually need, and then what kind of budget you have too, right? I just wrote down, how often should we actually take pictures, photos? And guys, comment and let us know, when's the last time you actually did a photo shoot at your hotel, like a professional, not you and your click and shoot or your phone, but when did you actually last do a photo shoot? And people are like, oh, we should do it every 5 years, we should do it every 10 years. Greg, in your professional opinion, how often should people shoot their hotels? What do
I
you
think
think?
minimum really of 5 years.
5 years.
And then it depends, did you renovate a meeting space and you want to sell that? Did you make a fire pit somewhere for families to enjoy that you want to show? I mean, you may need to update a few photos now and again because you updated a space. Of course, if you do a big renovation, you're going to want new photography. So, I mean, I think a minimum of 5 years, but if you have new spaces or new things to sell, you talked earlier about some photographs might not be used just on your website. It's true, you might want food photos for your social media if you're introducing a new restaurant. But then if you get a new chef 2 years later, they're going to have their own food items. So you'll want to reshoot those if you have a full service property or a property with a restaurant. So whenever you have something new, you're going to need new photography. You want something to talk about on social media, and directors of sales and marketing love new imagery to show their property and to be able to show new things. So it's a good idea to update, maybe not the rooms, but update certain things when they get renovated, when you get new food, when you have something new to show, get new images for that purpose.
Yeah. I feel like my rule is like 18 months because we're always renovating. No matter what hotel you have, you're always spending money doing something, right, to improve. And I think 18 months to 2 years kind of goes with the standard of online. Like right now, everything is high def. All your images are really you can go, zoom into pictures now. And back in the day, you send them to your brand and they upload them at a really compressed rate. And now, Booking.com is one OTA that really wants really high resolution pictures because guests are looking on their iPads. They're looking at these high def screens and they want to see it. And I think that makes them feel more comfortable that you're not hiding something and that they can zoom in on things in the room that they want to see. And so I think 18 months to 2 years is kind of my deal. But, I see hotels that are there like 5 years old. They still have the 2015 award on the plaque. And then you're like, I think you should definitely take that picture out or update it with new photos because the resolutions change too, right?
Yeah, and potential guests are going to make decisions about where they want to stay when they see those photos. So, the resolution has changed. Some brands are able to use really high resolution photos, and some, like you say, compress them. If you're an independent hotel, talk to your web designer about two things. One, you want them to load quickly on a device like a phone or an iPad. But also you want people to be able to see them and zoom in on things if they want to. And like you say, that's really important to see the quality of the property and the quality of the images.
I definitely agree. All right, Anish brings up a great question. He says, have you seen an increase in virtual tours or 360 shots as VR technology continues increasing and being more popular? Thank you.
I get some requests for virtual tours. We do them. And some brands will not allow them to be hosted on their websites, and some will. And some will allow you to convert a tour to a Google tour, and then they'll host it on the website. I don't know if I've seen an increase. It seems to be, it's out there. Some people like it and some people don't. I don't think I've necessarily seen an increase, but it's a tool that some salespeople really love. We're still doing them, and we're getting various requests, new properties that want to show a room, or they have some model rooms they want us to shoot. By the way, a lot of photo shoots happen in phases for new properties. We are not opposed to doing phase one when you have model rooms, maybe you want some exteriors, and then we come back when the whole property is complete. And I didn't mention it, but I will now. You really want to wait 2 or 3 weeks after you open, if you're opening a new property, to do your photo shoot. You really want things to be moving and working well, and you don't want to just open your doors and have the photographer there and have your opening party for ownership happening, the next day. You'll be too distracted. You want to focus on the photography when you're doing it a couple weeks after opening. But virtual tours are great if it's a tool you like. We use the Matterport system.
I was just going to ask that question. Yeah.
We use Matterport. And if it's something that you think will help sell the property and sell the rooms, absolutely.
Good. Yeah, I think Matterport's awesome because you can go and walk through the whole building or
Yeah.
walk through the lobby, and it's pretty cool to see that. You see it in homes right now. If you're selling or buying a home, if you're on Realtor, you see a lot of people using Matterport because of your ability just to make yourself feel like you're already doing a VR tour, especially right now with COVID. You don't
Right.
have the opportunity to go visit that house probably, right?
Right,
Same thing with the
absolutely.
hotel.
And I've seen realtors that have had a property for a year or so, and then another realtor will pick it up and hire a great photographer, and that property sells in a couple weeks.
So I'm glad you brought this up. My parents are buying a house right now. They close in 2 weeks, right? And here's the funny thing. This house has been listed for over a month now. And houses right now in Florida, in Central Florida, are like going the next day. Like they're same day they're getting listing, especially this range that's affordable, right?
Right.
My parents have been looking for the last couple months now, and they've noticed this one house that was pretty new. It was only a couple years old, and I said, send me the listing. So they sent me the listing. I said, this is horrible. And for me as a marketing person and kind of loving like the whole concept of online marketing, I was like, I understand why it's been on the market for so long. And it's because their photography, the realtor didn't spend any money. They took pictures with their phone. They took pictures with their phone, and that's the reason why they had no views. They had nobody show up to go look at the house, and that's why we actually picked it up for a decent price, because we were willing to go look at it, even though it didn't look good online. And so that's a huge opportunity for our industry. Have some amazing pictures. I guarantee you're going to convert people compared to you not converting anybody and being that person that's selling this house to my parents.
Yeah, it's better to not try to save a couple of bucks and do it right. I mean, if you have a photographer that wants to do 50 photos in a day and finish your property, I would say it's much better to, if you have an economy property, do 12 shots a day. If you have a luxury property, do 8 shots a day. Concentrate on the photography and make great imagery, because you're going to have to be marketing with those images for, like you said, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You're going to be living with these pictures. So it's important to do it right.
Yeah, and even your local CVB, your Chamber of Commerce, they're going to request these pictures. And if you don't have a great shot, you're embarrassed to send them. You're like, oh, we don't have a picture. Can I take it? Can I retake it when I have it? I've been there before. I know, because it's embarrassing when you don't have these really great shots and it looks like you rushed through it, right? And I see a lot of hotels, and I talk to a lot of hotels, and they're like, we didn't have the time, but really it's the prep, like you were saying earlier. Make time for these things, because they're like one of the most important assets to your hotel, especially if you're only selling online, right? If you have 100% walk-ins, guess what? You don't need great photos. You are already, but there's 99.9% of hotels are selling hotels online, right? They're selling rooms online. You need these strategies.
It is the first impression that your potential guests usually see. So you want great imagery, without a doubt, and spend the time to prepare, spend the time to talk to your photographer about what you need to do, and how the process is going to work. It's not a fast, quick process. On property takes some time, and then the post work takes a little time, usually a couple of weeks. We guarantee the pictures in 16 business days, but you need to you need to plan for that. No, you're not going to just push a button and get them the next day. There's post work that needs to happen to make the pictures great. So, I mean, that's really important. One of the other hacks I had down before we take another question real quick is your photographer, if they specialize in hospitality, will have specialized hospitality photography lenses, photography gear, and they'll know how to tell you to, for example, prep a meeting room, prep a space for a wedding or an event space you're going to set up, which is, you need to set that room not at capacity, at 60 or 70%. If a round takes 12 chairs, you should put 9 or 10, not 12. So you space the room out. It shows the room in its best light, and it doesn't look overly crowded.
Right, especially right now where we're doing social distancing. This is an opportunity for a lot of people that when they look at an image and they have all these chairs combined, you're like, oh, that's not safe. You just think that in your head. So guys, seriously, this is an opportunity to update your pictures online and your descriptions, like we talked about in past episodes. Take some pictures, put them up online that show that you are social distance, right? What you're doing, especially when we're talking about social media and making people feel comfortable right now. And this is not gonna be over in the next month or so. This is gonna be here for a while as far as the COVID and kind of the people's mindset of safety. So think about that when you're talking about photos and you're talking about your banquet space or your restaurants and how you're spacing stuff out, right? Do you agree with that, or what do you recommend when you're talking about COVID?
Some properties are doing mini photo shoots or fully produced photo shoots to show a business meeting where you space out your guests. And I'm seeing it more and more because that's probably your business over the next year, and your salespeople need to be able to have these pictures to sell those spaces. Or a wedding setup where chairs are farther apart, or banquet tables are farther apart, or you can show an open air setting with the tables spaced out. I think it's a great idea if you can do it. Show socially distanced meetings and weddings so you can host those. I see a lot of directors of sales taking photos with their phones right now, but if you can do a professional shoot and get those pictures out there, you'll probably win the business rather than somebody that is not showing how to do that.
All right. So my next question, and it's the touchy one. It's what's the ROI on an expensive photographer compared to me calling my local wedding guy that does weddings photos? And listen, I was that guy back in the day. Like, oh, I'm just gonna hire this guy that I know that does weddings, and he's $50 an hour, and he could probably knock it out in like 2 hours, and we'll be done. For $100, I can get this done, and we'll be over with. And that was my mindset back in the day. We wouldn't hire any photographers. We're like, we're not hiring any photographers.
I think
hospitality guys.
Yeah, I have
ROI.
I have full respect for wedding and portrait photographers. I did a lot of it in my day, but you just don't know the ins and outs of the business. I would say your average price for economy or select service for a day of photography, 12 to 15 images, is about $1,500 a day. Let's say, okay, you spend $3,000 or a little more on your pictures, and the amount of business that's going to bring you versus if you have photos that aren't prepped with bad shadows and wrinkles and the angles are all strange. It's hard to say. I mean, is it going to be thousands of dollars more when somebody's comparing those two photographers? So, and like I said, showing. I live here in Savannah. If you show Savannah and what it has to offer in some of the photos, you're just making people feel at home, like they're coming somewhere where they can really experience the town. You're showing them that with the photography.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. All right. So we're almost wrapping up, guys. If you've enjoyed this episode and these tips and these hacks, please comment and let us know, and let Greg know that he's doing a great job. And Greg, I've written down a bunch of things. So I'm definitely going to be bringing these back to the table at our meetings. And what else? What else can we do? What are some other hacks? So I know we've shared more than 10 now. You've given us so many tidbits. What are some other things that we could do when we're talking about photos online to convert people into bookings? Because that's what we need right now.
Well, we talked about Photoshop. That's your post-production, and you just want to really take the good photography and populate all the OTAs and make sure you have the updated imagery for those. That's going to be a huge driver of sales. Some of them won't list your hotel if you're out of compliance or you don't have the right amount of images. So I would say that's one of the number one things you can do once you have really good photography. I knew a company that would buy mom and pop properties that did not know much or just didn't engage in that, and they increased sales so much by just getting good photography. They would hire me to come and do shots and update a little bit, but we would just do beautiful imagery. Then they would populate the OTAs, and the increase in business was incredible, what they were doing. And then they would sell the hotel in a few years after they could show what they were able to do with it. So that is extremely important when you're doing that. And I also talked about having the team available to help the photographer. And I want to reiterate that. That's really important.
What do you mean team? Like, do we bring in another team?
Make sure you have the engineer available for the photographer. They should meet prior to the photo shoot. It's great to have the whole team meet with the photographer the morning of the photo shoot or the day before to go over everything. I often will go into a meeting room while it's being set up and give pointers. Like, hey, you've got too many tables, you have too many chairs. We don't need to set it to the back of the room all the way, because these tables are not going to be in the shot. Space out the tables more if you're setting up classroom style, to give it more of a look, breathing, make the space look good. So those types of tips are really important, that your photographers kind of should have a wealth of knowledge about how to set up a space and how to do that, and when it's going to look its best. The light when you're shooting, and it sounds a little crazy and strange, but what time of day are you going to do your event setup on a lawn? You can't have the sun coming right at you. Some people might say, oh, we definitely want to do it at sunset, but maybe sunrise is a better time to do it. So the photographer needs to consult on when the best time to shoot something is, based on the light. So oftentimes we have a schedule, we arrive at a property, and then we rework the schedule based on, what the light looks like for the best shots.
Right.
Time. So you have to be flexible in the schedule as much as possible to get great shots.
Sure. Yeah. And then we only have a few more minutes before we have to go, but this has been amazing. Everyone's saying you've done a great job. They've taken these valuable tips and probably going to take them back to the property. I already know somebody that's going to be hiring you. She says, call her. She puts a number in there. All right. So a few more questions. How many people need to be available for the photographer? And I think you already said it. We need your entire team. That's going to be the head of housekeeping, head of engineering, your director of sales, because she's going to be, or he's going to be the one that's selling some of these photos to groups and the weddings, and so they want to be part of this group too. Front office, right? Get their front office manager, your supervisor there, because they talk to guests every single day. You understand what they need, and the general manager definitely needs to be there. And Greg, do you agree with that? Because I've talked to so many people, they're like, oh yeah, this director of sales is going to take care of it, I'm not worried about it. Does the GM actually have to be there?
Well, so the GM doesn't have to be next to me. Some GMs are very involved. They want to be very involved.
But in the process.
In the process, if you need something and they say, they can put someone in charge and say, the ADM is your go-to person. It was nice to meet you, but this person's going to take care of you. That's great. I don't need the GM if someone else is, if people are going to take heed of the other person and what needs to happen on property. I want to also say that, if I'm working in an event space, I love to have the director of sales or director of sales and marketing approve the shot when I'm there and tell me, I often ask them, what are you selling in this space? What do we need to sell with the photo? And when we talk about that, then I can take the best photo for them to sell the space. That's the most important thing. When we do food and beverage, it's the same thing. I want to work with the director of F&B if the property has a restaurant, and I want to ask them, what are you selling? And they might say, hey, we're in Napa. We specialize in luxury wines. We want to show these 3 vineyards that are close by. We want to show the wine label. Whereas maybe in a lot of hotels, they don't want to feature a wine label because they have wines from Spain or somewhere else. So if they weren't there and they didn't say hey, we want to show the Camus label because the Camus Vineyard is right down the street, and they often come here for parties, that's absolutely something that I need to know when I'm taking the photo. What are you selling? That is very important for me to know so I can help you sell it.
Awesome. Well, I know there's a lot more questions online. Greg,
Sure.
Will you please go back and fill in the questions and answer some of these questions after the show? Because there's a lot of really great questions, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for being involved in here in this conversation, because I think it's important when we're talking about photos, which is your biggest asset online, that we get it right the first time or you'll miss this huge opportunity. So Greg, this has been a pleasure. This has been an awesome conversation on just things that I didn't even realize that we needed, as far as just little things like packages. Why can't we do those packages? I love that. So any last words? Where can people find? Yeah, any last words, and where can people find you?
Well, we're at gregcheostudio.com. The last name is spelled CEO, so GREGCEOstudio.com. You just put it up. Good. You can email me there. You can find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. We talked a lot about luxury properties, but we do photo shoots for all types of properties, and you can make
Mhm.
great photography for any property. So don't let the luxury scare you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find me there. Ask me questions. I'll try to answer everything I can, and we could go another 8 hours.
Yeah, we could. I love talking about marketing. We're talking about
Yeah.
anything with marketing. I will go down that path for hours. Maybe we do another episode, Greg. I think this is
Sure.
valuable that we share this other side that of photography that we haven't even talked about, right?
Yeah,
And so maybe we'll get you on in the future. But thank you, Greg. It was such a pleasure
that was
having
great.
you guys. Hit up
Thanks
the
for having me.
website, gregcheostudios.com. Greg, thank you so much. Enjoy the
Thank
rest of your week.
you. Have a good one.
See ya. All right, guys, what did you think about that episode? This episode, man, I learned a lot, and thank you so much to all the wonderful people, you guys, for sticking around and listening and answering and asking questions too, because it was because of you that we kept this going. And I did pick a person that has been super engaging here, and I'm gonna win. And let me actually hold on. You know what? I'm gonna bring Greg back on because I think Greg, we need to pick a winner. And I don't know if you read the comments, but I've been reading them and listening to what you're saying, and the person that has had one of the best comments, her name is Suzanne Gilt Martin. Congratulations, Suzanne! You just won a Amazon gift card for $50. Please send me a direct message here on LinkedIn, and I will share how you can get that. I'll send it to you digitally. And thank you so much for being on the show, Greg. Can you congratulate Suzanne?
Congratulations. Yes.
Great job, guys. If you're listening,
I'm going to try to answer all your questions for sure.
yeah, definitely. All right, thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yeah, you did. All right, guys. So I am. We're wrapping this up. This is a great conversation, guys. Please, please, please do me a favor before you leave. Before you leave, click on this link right here that I just posted, and please go to spurwork.com/hospitality live and support them, because they're supporting this show and they're going to support the next month or so. And they're the reason why we keep this show going. So my sponsors are the reason why everything happens. They pay for a lot of these things that cost us money when we're talking about the show. So guys, everybody right now, please click on this link that we just, it's over here, this link right here. And please support the show. And this is a way how you can support it, by clicking on the link and getting more information. And by the way, let me just go ahead and repeat what Spur does. They eliminate all the paperwork. If you're hiring somebody and you're going to be hiring people, they're going to eliminate all the paperwork around hiring and get that frustration out of your head when you're faxing, printing, scanning stuff back to your payroll department. They do everything online. And guess what? The best part is they're connected to a lot of hotel tech, which is like hotel effectiveness. So if you're doing payroll management or management for your hours through payroll, through hotel effectiveness, they directly connect in with them, which is a great opportunity. Guys, eliminate all the HR and payroll issues, and it's a really for $29 a month. You can get your payroll processed through Spur. So hit up this website right here, spurwork.com/hospitality live. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening. Next week, we'll be back with some amazing people that are going to inspire you to continue going, because that's what I do every week. I keep motivating myself, and that's what sometimes we need. We just need that little bit of motivation. Next week, we're going to have some people that are going to help us keep going. Super excited about that. Look for the promo on Friday, and do me a huge favor right now. If you're watching on YouTube, which I see people watching, hit the like button, subscribe, and the alert so you get the notification when the next episode comes up. And by the way, if you're not following me, hit the follow button on LinkedIn. That way you'll get notified too. Please go to the website. It's youtube.com/Rupesh Live to listen to any past episodes. Guys, thank you so much for the opportunity to have us share this concept with you, photography hacks with you, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and talk to you soon.